Morning, y'all. School run starts this morning. Busy morning. A lot of travelling yesterday, so I'm a little tired today. We're going to be talking about today something I'm not sure yet. Look, DJ Orla's just been interrupted because I asked Twitter what we're going to talk about. So let's see what Twitter said. So the questions today were how to control angle of attack, iron or long iron, or hybrid or long iron, sorry, or how to stop topping. And 50% went for how to control AOA. That's angle of attack, Orla.
Oh.
So we're going to drop Orla off. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get coffee, I'm going to drop Orla off, and then we'll head to Torquay Golf Club. See you there. So angle of attack. Let's try and explain. So we got the quad on, got my 7-iron dotted up. Let me hit a few shots and see what's going to manipulate my angle of attack. So let me just hit 3 stand ones to kick me off. So I hit more than 3 because I almost shanked one. You can see there, 2 middle, 1 low heel. Now angle of attack at the moment, averaging 5.9 down for me. And I'm also launching that ball at averaging 16 degrees, but my good hits are around 18, which is where I'd imagine a 7-iron launching for me. I'm going to hit a few shots now where I change the loft that swings around my body. So I'm now going to start with the face twisted this way, which is going to add more loft, but I'm still going to try and deliver a straightish shot. I want it to try and launch at a realistic angle, so I'm going to try and deliver some angles that would be relatively similar to what I just hit there, so what I would call functional. So this is often what golfers are doing. They put twists and turns in, add loft, take loft off, but then they still try to hit a functional shot. Let me hit a few, I'll show you a bit more what I mean. Right, before I show you those, I'm now going to do the opposite. I'm going to twist the face this way, hit it, but again, still try and hit with some launch, make a similar distance, and hit a similar shape shot. So if we look at the angle of attack now on these, I've got, it says driver 1, but that's me having more loft, what I feel I'm going to deliver too much loft with the face twisted, what you would think is open at the start. My angle of attack went to 6.9 down with one at 7.8 down. And if you compare that to my first set of shots, I was averaging 5.9 down. So I went more down when I knew there was more loft going to be delivered. Now, very opposite to that, when I took loft off, twisted it to what you'd think is a closed position, I was actually only 4 down. So I'm changing my angle of attack to try and make sure that I launch the ball in a window that gets me the best possible shot. So if you look at the ball data, averaging 17.9 on the driver ones, which is the added loft, and launching at 18.6 on the ones where I take loft off, so you know, within less than a degree of each other. And then if you look at my standard shot, if we take off the 2 Duffy shots where I got it really low on the face, which will obviously affect the launch angle, averaging 18.5, so very tight in launch. So I'm trying to keep the tolerances quite close in delivery, but the angle of attack is jumping around as the loft I feel might be delivered if I don't do something is changed. What does that mean to you? So what this means for you, and I see it day in, day out when I'm coaching people, is your angle of attack actually tells you a lot about what you're doing in your swing. And lots of people go around it the other way around. They think, oh, I'm not taking a divot, or I'm taking too much of a divot. They relate that down and up, which we'll come to in a second. But actually, their angle of attack is reflecting what twists and turns they put in. So it's actually trying to save them, trying to get those desired launches that they want so the ball doesn't pop too high. So the first question you should be asking yourself always is why? Why do I not hit down much? If you think about the one where I take the loft off, so I twisted the club this way and tried to hit it, I know and can see and feel that's going to hit the ball low. Now the fact that I can see and feel that, there'll be lots of you thinking, yeah, but we don't see or feel that, we just hit it. True, but you do. It's very rare, or it's more rare, that I get a student who doesn't react to a twist, even though they don't know they're doing it. It's literally more complete raw beginners who would put those twists in and then let the desired shots come out. So what I mean by that, you put that twist in where you take all the loft off and then they just go and hit at full speed down bottom left into the screen here. What you're going to find, most of you watching this, unless you are raw beginners, you're going to be at a stage where you're actually finding some good shots, you're hitting some good shots. It's that why do I hit it well on the range and not on the course thing. But then you're fighting certain twists. So you are trying to manage it. It's just often the twists are too big for you to manage it every time. That's where the word inconsistency kind of jumps in. But if you put that twist in low left, hits that low left shot, what I'm doing as I hit the ball is I am putting more tilt in my body to try and make sure that I don't hit down as much as I did when I had more loft, because I want the ball to launch. I know there's not much going to be delivered loft there if I'm not careful. So if I do get to my normal downward hit, the ball's just not going to go high enough. So it all comes back, and you'll find this more as you watch lots of my videos. Loft just dictates so much about what your delivery is. Yet so many of you don't understand if you deliver or are fighting higher lofts and lower lofts through twists and turns in your backswing. And this is one of the reasons I have issues with this being referred to as just closed and open. It actually manipulates the loft, then in turn your angle of attack, which in turn then changes where the ball launches, which in turn then changes the shapes of body you make to try and get better or different launches. See what I mean? The change just endlessly filters down to the fact that you can or can't control loft. So first idea is I work with students if we do need to play with angle of attack and get them to understand how it affects everything in their action. Is actually more out there than it is in here. It's a simple launch window drill which you can do and get them to learn the patterns when they hit in these different launch windows, and then also relate that back to what their baseline is. That's always the key, relating it back to what your baseline is, and all your baselines will be slightly varied. So what I mean by baseline, you stand there, just hit it, and where does that ball generally launch, shape and go. So I'm hitting in the net here, you can see my mark here. Not allowed to move ball position. I need to play from my normal grip and stance. Everything's just the same as I'd hit my baseline shot, but I'm going to launch it lower. Normal setup, but I want this to launch lower, so I'm going to feel as I come in to hit this ball, I'm moving forwards because I want more handle lean. There you go, you can see where that one's launched. So that's hitting noticeably lower than my standard hit. So my angle of attack there went to 9 down. And then I'm now going to hit one where I try and hit higher than my normal position on the net. Again, same ball position, but this time I'm going to feel almost like I'm leaning back more. Again, you see where that one hit. Loads higher on the net. Angle of attack there was only 2 down. So I get students to hit shots like that, and you can do this on the range. But then not only do I get them to see how angle of attack is changing, which it generally will for nearly all levels of students, from nearly raw beginners, I do this with Fanula, my eldest, to accomplished players. I also then ask them to look at the patterns of shots. So when I hit only 2 down, my ball goes higher, but it tends to start left and go left. When I hit more down, it tends to start more to the right and draw back. Now for some students, think about your baseline and work that in. You're someone who naturally hits quite high. You can do your normal setup, but try and move everything forward. You hit it and feel like you're hitting what to you feels like a punch shot. But if that gives you the better numbers, the fact that you label it as a punch shot, you call it a punch shot because that's what it feels like to you, but it delivers my standard baseline shots, if you like, which are relatively neutral, then I would say you need to feel like you're punching shots out there until they do start going too low. See where I'm going? It's not one simple fix. You've got to work out what feelings, moving forwards, feeling like you're hanging back, which will change baseline and launches, actually deliver the numbers that make you play better. See where I'm going with this? It's more you having the skills and knowledge of knowing how to move them and then using that than it is you just relying on someone to say you need to do it this way, because that's very one-dimensional. Does that make sense? So hitting more up, more down related to taking bigger or smaller divots, you need to be really careful with that. Let me show you what I mean. We're just going to go back home quickly and then we'll come back here to show you the difference in angle of attacks and how it can and can't affect what amount of grass or ground you take. Let's just go and look at the numbers. So let's look at numbers when I hit the 2 shots right out the bottom of the club, because this is an interesting one. So shot 1 here, I'm 5.4 down, which is almost as down as, say, shot 4, which was 5.6 down. But the strike was right out the bottom, and I didn't really touch much of the mat on this one. And then if you look at the second strike, 6.3 down, so it's more down than shot 4, where I did feel like I went into the mat more. And that strike equally as low and even more in the heel. So lots of people just think of hitting down and up in relationship to how much hitting fat and thin shots. That's not always the way. I think I've been able to get up to 8 down and still not really touch the ground. Launch monitors measure if your club is going up and down as it hits the ball or when the ball moves. You could have your club that far off the ground, and if you hit 20 down and the ball happened to move, the launch monitor would trigger and show your club moving 20 down, but you're nowhere near the ground. Launch monitors are not showing you how high or low your club is from the ground. That's a very different measurement, and one I think lots of people often blend into two. So be very careful when you're thinking of up and down hits. So if you hit down or up, on how much ground you're taking. That can often be a different part, where really, if you go back and look at what lofts you're good at delivering or not, what twists you're putting in, there often lays the secret to why you can or can't hit down or up as much as you need to. It's about coming at it the other way around. Let's go back to the studio and see if that makes sense. So let's look at body angles and how that relates to angle of attack. And this is often the biggest fix, stroke change for a student in their understanding of launches. So you'll see drills out there that work, they're good. If you go and put a tee, say, what's that, 10 inches, 12 inches behind the golf ball, so you're just missing it on the way back, try and hit shots where you miss it on the way down, and obviously you can edge it closer. That will change your angle of attack more into a descending angle of attack. And also you could put the tee in front, and you see things where people put towels in front, that kind of idea, or boxes of balls. That will make me hit definitely less down and feel like I'm more up, as long as I miss that tee. Those drills are all good, and sometimes I use them if students are really struggling, but sometimes the trouble with drills is it makes students not realise what they're actually doing. What that tee drill or ball or towel drill actually makes you do, more than often than not, is it makes you change your spine angle. So when you get the tee behind you, it makes you hit the ball with less of this angle, almost feel like you're more stacked on top of the ball turning. And when the tee's in front of you, it makes you hit with a more tilted spine angle to try and get low point earlier than to hit less down to on the way up, subject if the ball's on the tee or the ground. That's in turn changing that angle of attack. But often, rather than just put the tee down, the tee's a good visual thing for like videos. I like to get students just to try and feel that spine angle. Then they know what they're doing more rather than relying on some secret tip. So next time you're at the range and you want to play with launches, then in turn angles of attack, I want you, normal setup, from where you would hit an ordinary shot, and feel like as you hit the ball like you're almost leaning forward as you hit one. Again, you can see where that one's launching on the net. It's here, it's lower, and again hit some there where you feel like you're tilting your spine backwards. So hips go forward and spine comes back. Check, same ball position, same setup, just going to add a dynamic tilt in there. Again, look how high that's starting. It's up here. And I'm changing angle of attack there by kind of 4 or 5 degrees by how I'm tilting my body. It's actually very easy. Where people get stuck is they're trying to practice the right way. People want that, you must do it this way. No, I like students to be able to demonstrate both skills and then find somewhere in the middle if they need to, or stay one side. That's a bigger skill that allows you to get out on the course and actually play golf. Hit a slightly lower 7-iron, hit a slightly higher one to get it to stop, hit it under trees. All that stuff the golf course is going to demand that you do. Right, let's get back to the office and kind of round this up a bit for you. So when it comes to angle of attack, the bigger question often for me when students want to talk about angle of attack is what's causing it to be an issue, and actually is it an issue? So one, are you confusing how high or low the club is delivered by angle of attack? You know, and for some people that is a connection, but more often than not it's not. Also, what's causing them to have an early low point or a late low point, so more down or more up, if it actually is a case. And then often that always runs back to loft and their use of wrist angles, their twists and turns that they put in, and how they maneuver that club into that what we call open and closed position so commonly. And I think from today's poll that I started with, I was actually surprised that that one got picked. I thought more people would go for the how to stop topping one. But when it comes to controlling angle of attack, for me in my lessons, it's so much more a product of other things than it is a thing in itself. It's quite similar to the lag ideas as well that get thrown out there. You can change an angle of attack into a more constructive way for their action by changing a loft, changing a face to path, changing a feeling in their action, which often doesn't actually connect to hitting down or up. Because here's a curveball for you, and this one often blows people's heads off, but it's true. When you hit the ball, and people won't get this, but just try and figure it out, I'll do a little demo in a second. When you hit the ball, the handle of the club is actually going up and to the left as the club goes down. So just ideas or feelings of telling people to hit more down at it often creates absolute crashes. So again, I think often this argument gets lost, because when you start thinking of up and down, what are you actually thinking about? Are you feeling the bit of your hands moving? Because they're going up and left as the club goes down and right, or any path. And that's where often this idea gets lost in circles of nowhereness for people. Let me know if this makes sense or not. This is definitely a bit of a harder one to get your head around or not. Post comments down below, let me know. But handle goes up, club goes down. Think about it. Handle goes up, club goes down. Handle's going up, club is going down, in theory. I can't wait to see the comments. Post down below. See you all tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Also, Auntie Becky actually has chosen the winner of all that swag. She did it on Monday, but obviously I've been travelling and away, but I'm back now. And she's emailed them, but I've not yet heard from them. So you've got till next Monday to claim this prize. If you don't, we'll pick another winner. So you donated, one of you. Check your emails, might be in your junk. It will come through the system that you did the donation with. So it'll be through there. She's messaging you to message me. She's giving you my email to send me your address so I can send all that swag out. Thanks for the donation. Look forward to hear from you. See you all tomorrow. Think about it. Handle goes up, club goes down. Handle's going up, club is going down.